Yes, guys, welcome back to Kosi's Arsenal podcast. Welcome back. My name is Kosi, and this is the first edition of Arsenal Sensible Transfers. We're going to be looking at so many things in this episode, in this podcast, actually, not an episode, but it's a podcast where we'll be looking at sensible transfers, deals we must do, deals we should do as Arsenal, and that's why I called it sensible Arsenal transfers. I don't know about the name. I don't know how good it is or how bad it is. But basically, just to feed you in, it's a segment on Arsenal on Kosi's Arsenal podcast where we will be discussing the players that Arsenal need to buy rather than the players that we are linked with. So probably we could be linked with a player, and I feel it is a sensible transfer. Then we could actually discuss it. But I'll be picking out players that I think are within the budget of Arsenal, first and foremost. And then the other thing, players that I think we do need. So smash the like button, get yourself subscribed, because this episode will be dropping on a daily basis. I'll be trying to get in some different players. And the player today we're going to be discussing is SAUL Niguez. In that midfield of Arsenal, there needs to be someone with a lot of technical ability to play with PARTEY. And for me, there's so many options I was thinking about. There's so many players I was thinking about when I was selecting SAUL Niguez. I thought about Donny van der Beek, Manchester United. I thought he is another technically gifted player, another player that has all the qualities that we need in a midfielder. Of course, I did think about how Semawa, we've been linked with him before, and I thought he's a nice one. I thought about Yuri Tillemans, and we did a video about Yuri Tillemans, but not in depth, of course. But he was linked with Arsenal before, and we did a video about him. So in this segment of Arsenal sensible transfers, let's first talk about SAUL Niguez and see how could he actually fit at Arsenal. What are his statistics, and what can he actually provide if he joined Arsenal? For me, he's played with PARTEY before at Atletico Madrid. That is one of the things that actually let me feed him in as one of the sensible transfers we could do as Arsenal. So let us look at his heat map. If you look at his heat map, 90 minutes. In one of the games, you could see one of the things I really liked about his heat map is he's operating on the left side of the pitch, like you'd see, and PARTEY basically operates on the right hand side of the pitch. So I think it would be a very, very, very nice pair between Partey and SAUL Niguez. They played before, like I said, they played before together at Atletico Madrid, and now if you brought back SAUL Niguez and PARTEY together, it would be like getting the Atletico Madrid pair and then pasting it at Arsenal. It's like a copy and paste. And for me, I think it would be something good. It's been linked with Manchester United before, but just look at his heat map there a little bit, and see how he uses possession and how he moves. He's basically cutting across the pitch, but on the left side. And PARTEY would do the same, but basically on the right, on the right hand side of the pitch. And obviously, we know PARTEY is always going to make those, runs throughout the pitch and so on. So I think that's one of the reasons that's why I would take him as a partner for PARTEY. The other thing we need to talk about is how he would actually fit at Arsenal before we get excited, because Arsenal fans always get excited when we think about a new player. But before we get excited, how could SAUL Niguez fit at Arsenal? Where would he play, and what exactly does he give us in terms of game control and ball possession and ball recovery and all that? So first and foremost, if you look at this lineup, it looks like a 4-2-3-1, but I do not understand the formation I'm using, but it looks like a 4-2-3-1 because I have SAUL Niguez, Partey, Pepe, Odegaard, Saka, and then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Of course, there are big questions around Saka. I mean Pepe, Saka, but where you have SAUL Niguez is actually where Partey plays. So you have you literally have two. Let me just get this. So you literally have two probably you would call them CDMs, sitting there, and for me that is, that is awesome. So you have Saul Niguez and Thomas Partey deep in the midfield, two technically gifted players, because what I think is what Thomas Partey can do, Saul Niguez can do. What Saul Niguez can do, Thomas Partey can do. And for me, that is the beauty with the game of Saul Niguez and Thomas Partey. And that's why I would like him to play with Saul Niguez. So what Saul Niguez gives us, first and foremost, is that area. I think, he can control that area. And he can also control this area as well. So I think he's very comfortable in receiving and passing the ball in both areas here. I mean, in the Arsenal half, just at the center arc, and then going backwards, and also getting the ball forward at the center arc and going forward to the 18 years box. Of course, there are a few times where you see Saul Niguez in this area as well. And of course, like we have always said throughout this season, we need a lot of creativity, especially from deep down the midfield and then high up the pitch. We need a lot of creativity. We need more. We want more. And I think Saul Niguez is that kind of player who could actually, provide that with, provide us with that kind of coverage. Of course, like he said, he's going to basically operate. Let me just do this a little. Okay, so he's going to operate on this side of the pitch, on the left-hand side of the pitch, like. Okay, there we go. So basically, this is Saul Niguez operating on this left-hand side of the pitch. So that means he would operate with players like Willian, Martinelli, Saka, and Kian Tierney. And I think that is quality because he's replacing Granit Xhaka, who I think is a very good player in terms of his defensive abilities, but he is not that quality in terms of going forward. And it's the reason as to why actually I'm dumping him. It's the reason as to why I'm putting him out of the lineup. Because his defensive abilities are good, but we need more going forward. So if you have Thomas Partey and you're well assured that his match fitness is back and everything he can do for you as a club is back, then you need a player who can actually complement Thomas Partey, go forward more often, link up play, get the short passes, control a game when Martin Odegaard is not actually controlling it, and things like that. And for me, I think Saul Niguez is that kind of player to offer that to Arsenal. So basically, if I can just get an arrow right here, very good. So if we are looking at Saul Niguez and what he offers Arsenal, this is it. First and foremost, he's going to receive. No. I want on a pencil. This good. So he's basically going to receive, the ball from the back. Of course, us, and Mikel Arteta are fanatics of of playing from the back. So he's going to receive this ball from Leno, from David Luiz, from Gabriel Magalhaes, from Pablo Mari, or whoever is playing with playing in that midfield, in that defense. Sorry. And what he's basically going to do is supply this ball. And I'll just move Odegaard and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in adverse positions. So what he's going to do is supply this ball to everybody. Move Thomas Partey around here. So, what he basically does is supply this ball throughout the pitch. And I think, it could be as easy as that. Of course, he's going to give us, these passes that, encourage the fullbacks, Bellerin and Saka to go forward. I also think he's one very good player who's able of carrying the ball himself, and you'll find him, moving throughout the pitch. Like you saw, his heat map is going to be around these areas, and is going to be moving with the ball himself. But he's also very good at connecting the pitch and having that network as a player. He has the pace. One of the things I really do like about him, he has the pace, and he is always going to give you that pace as a player. Now, the other thing I want us to look at about Saul Niguez is his statistics per 90, and I think these are very, very, very crucial. If of course, if you're looking at to buy a player, especially in such a in a technical area like the midfield, you need to look at his statistics. So if you look at the statistics of Saul Niguez per 90, his pass completion is at 85. 85%, that is per 90. Passes completed 51.5. Pressures applied 17. Progressive passes 4.26, that is per 90. And then you have progressive ball carries, which are 3.12, and then tackles stand at 2.9. So I think what I like about his statistics is easy. He is a balanced player, because if we just look at his percentages here, apart from assists and expected number of assists, the rest of his game is balanced, from shot creating actions to area balls won. Because a player of his of his stature, you might not think he's interested in winning area balls, but it's crazy. He stands at 92% in area balls won. For me, that is incredible for such a player, and I think he fits the Premier League very, very well, if I'm not mistaken. So that is all about the statistics and how he would actually fit at Arsenal, in the man himself, Saul Niguez. So personally, why I like Saul Niguez, because that is where and that's the reason as to why actually I picked him over so many players, over Tielemans, over Van der Beek, over Hausemewa and a couple of others. The reason as to why I like him is so easy. I think he's a versatile player. I think he's a very talented player, and I think he is a hard player. He can manage the Premier League. One problem I have with players like Hausemewa and Donny Van der Beek is that soft nature. They are very gifted and talented, but that soft nature they have, Saul Niguez doesn't have it. He's very talented. He's very hard. He's very, very, very that kind of player that was made and built for the Premier League. I would want to, I would want to have him at Arsenal. I think it would be a sensible transfer. Now the price is something that would write us off, because it would be around 50 million or 45 million, which I think shouldn't be a problem, because we have said before that we want to back Mikel Arteta. We have said before that Arsenal wants to back Mikel Arteta. And for me, if you want to back a manager, that's what you've got to do. You've got to give him the signings that are sensible. You've got to give him, sensible transfers. And if you're going to talk about sensible transfers, like this episode is called, then you've got to splash the money. If we're going to splash around 40 million on Hausemewa, why not splash it on Saul Niguez? Because I just feel he's the perfect player, to partner Thomas Partey. The reason as why I think he's perfect over players like Yves Bissouma, because Bissouma is another killer. I think Bissouma and Partey have so much in common. Like both of them are CDMs, yes. Partey is a little bit advanced. Bissouma is not so much of an advanced player, but Partey is advanced. But if at one point in time they're gonna collide in roles, they're gonna collide in responsibility. They're gonna be like, I'm doing this and you're doing this. But for Saul Niguez, he can track back as a player, but his game and attributes and responsibilities of his play are more focused to going forward, driving the forward, getting that ball, receiving it and connecting it from him to maybe to Odegaard, or from him to Emile Smith Rowe, or whoever is going to be playing in that number 10 role. He's going to create the chances from there. Partey does create chances, but if you look at the ratio at which Partey creates chances, and then Saul Niguez, Saul Niguez's ratio, it's a little bit different, and you can see why the two players could actually complement each other. So that is my first player, sensible transfers, the midfield. Of course, we have to talk about so many midfielders, because Arsenal has issues with the midfield, especially when it comes to creativity and so much more. I think El Neni has to go. I think Danny Ceballos has to go, and I'll talk about Ceballos today or tomorrow. I'll do a big video about him, around 10 minutes or 15 minutes, trying to explain the problem with Danny Ceballos and why he's not, good enough for the Premier League. Why I think Arsenal did a big mistake by bringing him back on loan. Why I think he shouldn't actually come back, on loan next season. I'll do a video about Mohamed El Neni. In the first place, we shouldn't have signed him. And this is what I've already said, that at times we criticize players, but man don't sign themselves. These men actually find themselves on the transfer list of Arsenal with names like N'Golo Kante, and then they are chosen. They are the chosen ones. So sensible transfers for now ends, but I'll come back with another big video. For now, I sign out, and I'll be talking about more transfer news around us, and especially Martin Odegaard's possibility to stay at the club, and so much more. Goodbye for now.